I caught her in a lie the moment she said it. You trust me, right? Natalie cooed, twirling her wine glass with that smug smile she always used when she was hiding something. I've just been thinking lately maybe we should spice things up. I laughed at first. I thought it was a joke. But she wasn't joking. She was serious. An open marriage, she repeated like it was just some harmless bucket list item. You know, it could be freeing. For both of us. I was floored. After 12 years of marriage, 2 kids, and a damn mortgage, this woman, the same woman who once cried because I took too long to text back, was now preaching freedom? I should have known something was up right then. But stupid me. I tried to be open-minded. I told her I'd think about it even though my gut was already screaming. And the worst part? She had already opened it, just not with me. The night it all shattered, I came home early from work. I'd had enough of the meetings, the fake smiles, the forced small talk. I wanted to surprise her, maybe take her out, remind her what we still had. But she wasn't home. And her phone was on the kitchen counter, unlocked. I don't care who you are if your wife suddenly starts locking her phone 24/7, putting on makeup to go for coffee with the girls, and laughing at texts she refuses to show you. You check the phone. I told myself I was just worried. I told myself I wasn't going to find anything. But the moment I opened her messages, it was like getting stabbed in the chest, over and over. His name was Brandon. Of course it was Brandon. Generic, gym-addicted, entrepreneur Brandon. Their chat was filthy. Voice notes, pictures, plans for hotel meetups, even jokes about me. Me, the dumb, boring husband who would never have the balls to try something new. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I just sat there, holding the phone, my heart pounding so loud I thought it would crack my ribs. And then, like fate itself wanted to spit in my face, the front door opened. She walked in, hair tied up in a messy bun, wearing that same hoodie she always threw on after being with him. I would later learn it was his hoodie. I stood up. Calm. Too calm. Hey babe, you're home. She stopped when she saw her phone in my hand. The way her eyes widened, then immediately tried to play it cool, I'll never forget it. You went through my phone? She snapped, like I was the criminal. You're cheating on me, I said. My voice was ice. With Brandon. Boom. Silence. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. Oh my God, are you serious right now? So what, I'm not allowed to explore because you don't get it. Explore? She had the audacity to say it like it was some spiritual journey. Like she was off finding herself by getting railed in a Holiday Inn by a dude who spells business with a Z. I lost it. All that open marriage talk, you were already screwing him before you even brought it up. She rolled her eyes. We weren't serious then. I was just figuring things out. Lies. Stacked on lies. She had been seeing him for months. And I'm the idiot who didn't notice, too busy working double shifts and picking up the damn groceries she was too tired to get. I walked out that night, drove to my brother's place, sat in the car for hours before knocking on his door. I didn't cry. Not yet. It was like my brain refused to believe this was real. Over the next few weeks, we barely spoke. She sent texts saying I was being dramatic, that she warned me this might happen if I didn't keep up. She said I could start seeing other people too now. Like that was a consolation prize. But something flipped in me. I said fine. You want open? Let's open the whole damn thing. And so I went on a date with Samantha. Her best friend since college. The one Natalie always bragged about being closer to than her own sister. The one who always gave me looks when Natalie wasn't watching. Guess what? She was very open to the idea. And when Natalie found out, she lost her **** mind. She came banging on my apartment door at 11:47 p.m. like she was the one betrayed. Hair messy, mascara already smudged like she'd been crying. Or more likely screaming. She didn't even knock like a normal person. She pounded like she wanted to break the door down. I opened it slowly, calm, shirtless, and yes, Samantha's purse was still sitting on the kitchen counter behind me. I made sure she could see it. You're dating Sam? Natalie barked, voice sharp and high, almost like a dog whistle. Are you ****ing serious right now, Josh? My best friend. I leaned against the doorframe and crossed my arms. I didn't say anything. Just stared. Let her boil in her own rage for a moment. You're damn right I am, I finally said, voice low and clean. You said we should open things up. You started it. I'm just playing by your rules now. Her face twisted. She wasn't ready for that. Oh, she loved the idea of freedom for herself. But the second I touched someone else, especially someone close, she turned into a raging lunatic. That's different, she screamed, stomping into my place without permission. Sam and I go way back. You're crossing every boundary. And Brandon? I asked, stepping in behind her. What boundary was that? Oh wait, our wedding vows? She turned on me, all sharp edges and venom. You weren't even satisfying me anymore, Josh. You were boring. You stopped caring about me. I deserved to have fun. That word. Deserved. Like she was owed infidelity because I had a full-time job. Like picking up the slack at home and being a dad made me worthless as a man. I saw red, but I didn't raise my voice. Then why didn't you just leave? I asked. If I was so dull, why hang around and lie, cheat, sneak around like some coward instead of being honest? She didn't answer that. She didn't have to. Her silence was louder than any excuse. Instead, she started pacing. Arms crossed tight over her chest, lips pressed thin. Her whole energy had shifted, no longer angry but jealous. How serious is it, she finally asked. You and Sam. I almost laughed. That's what she cared about? I shrugged. We talk. We laugh. We do things you never made time for anymore. And when we sleep together, she doesn't treat it like a chore. Natalie's face flushed crimson. You're disgusting, she spat. No, Natalie. I'm just doing what you said we should. Welcome to your open marriage. Hope you're enjoying it. She stormed out after that, but not before slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frame. I just stood there, breathing in the silence. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt alive. And guilty. And angry. And free. It was a mess of feelings all crashing together. I didn't love Samantha, not yet. But the way Natalie reacted told me everything I needed to know. She never wanted an open marriage. She wanted to cheat without guilt. She wanted me to sit quietly in the background, play the supportive husband while she played the field like some hotshot on Tinder. She never thought I'd have the spine to call her bluff. But I did. And now she was panicking because she'd lost control. Not just of me, but of the narrative. She tried to talk to Sam a few days later. Tried to guilt her. Shame her. Pretend like I had manipulated her. Samantha told her to go K herself and blocked her. I guess loyalty doesn't mean much when you've been lying to everyone. After that, the divorce talk started. She wanted to salvage our friendship, said we could keep things amicable. I told her I wanted full custody and the house. She flipped again. Said she'd ruin me. Said I'd regret this. Told everyone I cheated first, even had the audacity to claim I had been manipulating her into the open marriage. Classic move. Lie, cry, flip the script. But I was done playing nice. I had receipts. Screenshots. Voice notes. A full digital graveyard of her betrayal. And I wasn't afraid to use it. I never thought my life would turn into a damn soap opera. Never thought I'd be that guy, the one who lost everything to a cheating wife with a god complex. But here I am. Picking up the pieces. Rebuilding brick by ing brick. And oddly enough, it's starting to feel like freedom. The first time she cried in court, I almost believed her. Almost. She clutched a tissue like it was a lifeline, fake sobs shaking her shoulders as she told the judge how abandoned she felt. How I'd emotionally checked out of our marriage. How I pushed her into the open relationship like some heartless monster. I sat there stone-faced. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of reacting. My lawyer, David, leaned over and whispered she's overplaying it. Let her hang herself. I nodded, but my jaw was clenched so tight it felt like concrete. She was always good at this, at being the victim when it counted. Crocodile tears. Half-truths. That little tilt of her head that made strangers feel sorry for her. I used to fall for it too. But not anymore. They brought up Samantha. Natalie's lawyer asked whether I had started seeing her before or after the open marriage agreement. Tried to paint me as predatory. Manipulative. The irony almost made me laugh. Before, I said clearly, Natalie had already been with her boss, Brandon, at that point. She was the one who first suggested we open things up. I went along with it. For the record, I didn't want to. I just didn't want to lose my family. Natalie's head jerked toward me like I'd slapped her. But I didn't look at her. I looked at the judge. The one person in that room who had the power to separate me from my son. The moment they brought up our kid, Nathan, 6 years old, obsessed with dinosaurs and convinced his dad could take down a T-Rex with a Nerf gun, I felt fire crawl into my chest. That kid was everything to me. And she wanted full custody? Hell no. I showed every message. Every late-night text to Brandon. The hotel bookings. The sneaking out at midnight, leaving Nathan with me and calling it girls' night. Even the time she brought Brandon to our house while I was on a work trip, slept in our bed, left the sheets unwashed. I told the judge everything. No theatrics. Just truth. The courtroom was cold and so was my heart by then. Afterward, she stormed up to me in the hallway outside like a banshee out for blood. You think this is over, Josh? You think she's gonna love you back? Sam's not like that. She's just using you. You mean the way you used me? I said, not even flinching. At least Sam's honest. Her face cracked, just for a second. There it was. The real her. The cornered, bitter version underneath the mask. She hated that I wasn't crawling back. Hated that I wasn't playing the broken husband role she'd assigned me in her mental movie. She expected me to fight for her. Or at least fall apart. But I didn't. Because truthfully, the moment I saw the condom wrapper in her glove box 6 months ago, something in me started to die. Slowly, like a candle suffocating in a glass jar. And when she looked me in the eye that night and casually said, maybe we should just open the marriage like it was no big deal, I felt it go out completely. I said yes, but I was already gone. Dating Samantha wasn't revenge. It was rescue. Sam had been there for me during the unraveling. She saw through Natalie's crap long before I did. At first, it was just venting, drinks, long talks. But it grew. She made me feel like I mattered again. Like I wasn't just a paycheck and a babysitter. I didn't expect to fall for her. But I did. And now Natalie was losing her mind because someone finally did to her what she'd done to me made her feel replaceable. The divorce dragged on. She fought dirty. Tried to twist our son against me. Called me a traitor in front of him, cried at drop-offs like a grieving widow. But slowly, the mask kept slipping. The judge wasn't blind. Neither was Nathan. I started documenting everything. Every mispickup. Every night she prioritized parties over parenting. Every message where she threatened to take everything. I wasn't playing nice anymore. I was protecting what was mine. By the third court date, her act was unraveling. Even her own lawyer looked tired of her. And when the judge finally ruled partial custody in my favor, Natalie didn't cry. She just stared at me like I'd stolen her whole identity. Maybe I had. Maybe that's what happens when a narcissist loses control, she implodes. And as I watched her walk out of that courtroom, heels clicking like gunshots against the marble, I felt something unexpected. Peace. I didn't win everything. But I didn't lose myself either. She showed up at my door last Thursday night like nothing ever happened, dressed to kill in a red dress I'd bought her 2 birthdays ago, the same one she once said made her feel like a goddess. I opened the door halfway, already knowing this wasn't going to be good. Can we talk? She said, forcing a soft, almost flirty voice. Her eyes scanned the living room behind me like she expected to catch someone hiding there. I crossed my arms. Now you want to talk? She laughed. Laughed. Like this whole thing had been one big joke and we were just 2 old friends reminiscing. You're really with her? She asked, stepping forward a bit. Sam? My best friend, Josh? You think that's not F*** get up? Are we really doing this? I asked. You cheated, Nat. With your boss. Multiple times. Lied to me every step of the way. Proposed an open marriage just to cover your mess. Now that I've moved on, suddenly you care. Her face twisted, the calm slipping. I didn't cheat, I just wanted more. You were distant. You didn't even touch me for months before Brandon. And that makes it okay? I snapped. You could have talked to me. You could have left me. But no, you waited until I was fully invested in our life, our family, and then started playing house with your damn boss behind my back. She leaned against the doorframe like she was tired. Sam never even liked you until she found out I did. She's just trying to hurt me. I almost laughed. Sam's not like you, Nat. She doesn't lie every time she opens her mouth. Her eyes narrowed. You're not even angry anymore. That's worse than yelling. It's like you don't care. I don't, I said and meant it. She blinked. That hit harder than any insult. I gave you everything, she whispered. No, I said quietly, you gave me the version of you I was useful to. The second I stopped being convenient, you moved on. And now that I'm not miserable without you, that's the problem. Her face cracked again, something flickering behind her eyes. She wasn't used to this version of me, the version who wouldn't beg or fold under guilt. Then she dropped the bomb. Nathan asked why you didn't come to his school recital. My chest tightened. You didn't tell me. You said it was canceled. She just shrugged. Maybe you weren't listening. That was the moment I saw it, the weaponizing of our kid. The slow drip of poison. Making me look like a deadbeat, planting seeds in his little brain that I was the one disappearing. You keep him out of your games, I said, voice low but burning. You don't get to break up this family and then turn our son into a pawn. She rolled her eyes. You're so dramatic. You're so cruel, I shot back. She stood there for a second, her mask off, her ugliness showing through every inch of her fake tan and designer perfume. She wasn't sad. She wasn't regretful. She was jealous. Not of me, but of what I still had left in me that she couldn't ruin. You'll come crawling back, she said eventually, stepping away from the door. When she gets bored. When you realize she was just using you to spite me. I shut the door without another word. That night, I held Nathan while he slept. His small hand wrapped around my thumb like it used to when he was a toddler. And I realized something that settled deep in my chest like a truth I'd known all along but hadn't said out loud. I wasn't healing for Natalie. I wasn't even healing for Samantha. I was healing for him. Because when he grows up and asks what happened, I want to be able to look him in the eye and tell him the truth. Not a sugar-coated version. Not the lie his mother will spin. But the raw, ugly, painful, real truth that I stayed too long, loved too deep, and got burned for it, but I never stopped showing up. Not for him. Never for him. And if that means dealing with Natalie's poison until he's old enough to see for himself, so be it. Because I'm not afraid of her anymore. And she knows it. A week passed. Then, too, I tried to keep things civil with Natalie for Nathan's sake, but every message she sent came laced with venom. If I picked him up 5 minutes late, she'd twist it into abandonment. If I brought him back early, I was dumping my responsibilities. Everything became a performance, for him, for her ego, for whatever pathetic grip she thought she still had over my life. And yet, through all her chaos, things with Sam, they just worked. It wasn't even about revenge anymore. She saw me. We laughed, cooked together, shared stories late into the night. She'd sit across from me in an oversized hoodie, hair tied up, no makeup, just real. The kind of real I hadn't felt in years. One night, we were watching some old movie she loved, something with awful special effects and a cheesy love story. She leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, "She doesn't deserve you." Simple words. But they pierced through a wall I didn't know I'd built. I didn't respond. Just held her closer. Then the storm hit. Natalie showed up at my work. Unannounced. Unhinged. I just stepped out for lunch when I saw her parked by the front entrance, leaning against her car like she was in some teenage drama. "You're not answering my texts," she snapped the second I approached. "Because none of them are actually about Nathan," I said. "They're all about you. Your tantrums. Your twisted version of everything. Your AF ****** ing joke," she hissed, stepping closer. "Running around with my best friend like you're some kind of prize. No, Natalie. You're just mad because I stopped being your doormat." She laughed bitterly and then she pulled out her phone. "You think I'm the villain? Let's show everyone what kind of man you really are." My stomach dropped. "What are you doing?" She clicked something and suddenly my phone buzzed. A video. From an unknown number. I opened it. My blood ran cold. It was footage from our bedroom. Her and Brandon. The boss. In my house. In my bed. The same damn sheets we bought together last Christmas. She smiled. "Oh yeah. You think you're the only one who can move on? You recorded that? In our home." I could barely get the words out. "What kind of sick? You needed to see what you lost," she spat. "You don't just walk away from me, Josh." I was shaking. Not out of pain. Not out of heartbreak. Out of rage. "You don't get to come back from this," I said, low and steady. "You're done." "Oh, I've been done," she sneered. "But you? You're just getting started. That little love story with Sam? Let's see how long she sticks around once I tell her the real reason you started dating her." I stepped forward, toe-to-toe with her now. "You mean because you threw her friendship in the trash the second you got bored of me?" Her face flickered. "Gotcha. Sam was never the problem. You were. You're just mad someone finally sees you for the liar you are." She rolled her eyes and turned to leave, muttering something under her breath. I stood there for a long time after she drove off, the sounds of the city muffled under the weight of everything that just happened. That night, I showed Sam the video. I didn't want any secrets between us. She watched it without flinching, her jaw tight, her eyes cold. When it ended, she said quietly, "She recorded this to hurt you. Not just to cheat, but to document it. That's another level of evil." I nodded. "I know. And the worst part," she added, voice thick with disgust, "is she actually thought this would bring you back." We sat in silence for a while. Then she reached for my hand. "Promise me something," she whispered. "Anything. When this gets worse, and it will, don't push me away. Don't let her destroy what's left of you." I looked at her, really looked. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I felt steady. I won't. Because I knew now Natalie hadn't just tried to cheat. She tried to erase me. But I was still here. Still standing. And this war? She just lit the final match point. 3 days later, I got served. Custody petition. Natalie was trying to fight for full custody of Nathan. She claimed I was emotionally unstable, reckless, and exposing our child to inappropriate environments. I laughed bitterly reading through the papers. This was coming from the same woman who had filmed herself hooking up with her boss in our bedroom, the same woman who wanted an open marriage so she could sleep her way through her office like it was some kind of casting couch. I called my lawyer, Mark. He'd seen a lot of nasty divorces, but even he paused reading the complaint. "She's going for blood," he said. And I'm not gonna lie to you, courts still tend to favor the mother unless we can show she's unfit. Do you have anything? Besides her recording herself cheating in our house? Only if you can prove it was while Nathan was home or that she exposed him to any of these guys. We need more than just moral disgust. We need dangerous behavior. I knew she was a terrible mother. She was barely around, dumped him on me or her mom whenever she had a new guy on the hook, but she was smart. She kept that part hidden. Her mask for the outside world was still in place. Corporate Barbie, doting mother, PTA appearance when it counted. But I wasn't the same guy who looked the other way anymore. I started digging. I talked to her coworkers, asked around carefully. Nothing. She'd kept her flings out of the office gossip pipeline. But then I got lucky. It came from Sam. She was out with some mutual friends from back in the day, people Natalie had long since discarded, but Sam still stayed in touch. They spilled something she hadn't even heard before. Apparently, Sam said, her eyes sharp, Natalie used to leave Nathan alone at night. When she'd sneak off to Brandon's place. Or whoever else. You sure? They said they stopped talking to her after they realized she was locking him in his room with the TV on so she could disappear for a few hours. I felt my blood boil. You're telling me she left our 5-year-old son alone? At night? They didn't have proof. But they said it happened a lot. They felt guilty for not reporting it. But they also thought maybe it wasn't their place. It damn well is now. I called Mark the next day. He nodded slowly as I explained. If we can get affidavits from them, even second-hand testimony, it might cast enough doubt on her parental judgment. Get me their names. Natalie must have felt the pressure because suddenly her tone changed. She started messaging me more often, friendly fake. Acting like she missed the old us, like maybe we rushed into things. Like she regretted proposing the open marriage. I wasn't buying it. She was trying to disarm me. Then came the real twist. One night, I dropped Nathan off at her place, her mom's house, technically since she had moved back there after the fallout. As I pulled away, I saw a familiar car parked outside. Brandon. Still in the picture, apparently. Though this time, he wasn't sneaking out. He was playing house. Tossing a football to Nathan like he hadn't been the reason my family exploded. I parked up the street and just watched. 10 minutes in, Natalie came out and kissed him on the porch. Not even subtle. Like she wanted someone to see. The sick part? She was smiling. Radiant. As if this was the real her. I took a picture. Then another. And then I got out of the car. She froze when she saw me walking up the driveway. Oh look, she said, too loudly, your father's back. Surprised you're not busy playing house with Sam. Brandon tensed, stepping slightly between me and Nathan. I saw red. I don't need you speaking about Sam, I said through clenched teeth. You lost that right the moment you lied, cheated, and tried to use our kid like a chess piece. Brandon opened his mouth, but I cut him off. Don't. Just don't. You're not his dad. You're just the guy who couldn't keep it in his pants long enough to respect another man's home. Natalie let out a fake laugh. God, you're dramatic. No, I said. I'm just done letting you play the victim while torching everyone around you. I knelt down and looked Nathan in the eyes. I'll see you soon, buddy. Be good, okay? He nodded. Quiet. Confused. I hated that he was caught in this. Then I stood, looked Natalie in the eye, and said, try me again in court. I've got witnesses now. Everything you did? It's coming out. Her face flickered for a second. And for once, she didn't have a snappy comeback. I walked away knowing one thing. She was scared. Not of losing me. Of losing control. A week later, I got a call from her mother. Sandra. The woman had always been cool with me even when Natalie started spiraling into whatever this new version of her was. Logan, she said, her voice trembling, I think you should come get Nathan. My heart dropped. What happened? She left him here last night and never came home. I tried calling, texting, nothing. I don't feel comfortable just keeping him here like some babysitter. I love my grandson, but I'm not his parent. I was already grabbing my keys. I'll be there in 20. I picked him up, and as I pulled into my driveway with Nathan asleep in the back seat, I knew that was it. I wasn't handing him back. Not without a fight. Mark moved fast with the emergency custody motion. The affidavits from Natalie's old friends helped. 2 of them admitted in writing that she'd left Nathan home alone multiple times while chasing down her little late-night adventures. It painted the picture we needed: irresponsible, unfit, self-absorbed. And then came the bombshell. Sam came to me one evening, sitting on my porch with a look that was both nervous and determined. I wasn't going to tell you this, she said slowly, but I think you deserve to know. And it might help with the case. I waited tense. Remember when Natalie tried to play off the open marriage as something you wanted too? Told everyone it was mutual. Yeah? She lied. She started that whole idea because she'd already been cheating. You were just too loyal to see it. She just wanted a guilt-free past to keep doing what she was already doing. And the first person she slept with during that open phase wasn't Brandon. I frowned. Wait, who was it? She looked at me, guilt in her eyes. It was someone married. Someone in our friend circle. She bragged about it to me once. Said it felt empowering to sleep with someone else's husband and then come home like nothing happened. I felt something ice-cold slither down my spine. Do you know his name? She nodded. Matt. Matt Collins. Married to Vanessa. My jaw clenched. Matt and I had been on double dates with Natalie and Vanessa. We went to barbecues. Game nights. And all the while. She's a monster, I muttered. I know. That's why I'm telling you now. We submitted everything. The texts Sam had from back then. Screenshots, times, even one where Natalie literally wrote, he thinks we're just starting to open up, but really I'm already 3 steps ahead. I need this. I need to feel something again. Need to feel something? While blowing up our lives. The hearing came fast. Natalie showed up looking like a Macy's mannequin, pressed dress, crocodile tears, playing the part of the wounded woman. But it fell apart under pressure. Mark eviscerated her on the stand. The judge was stone-faced as we laid out everything, the neglect, the lies, the manipulation, the revolving door of men. And when it was over, the judge leaned forward and said, given the preponderance of evidence, I'm awarding temporary full custody to Mr. Carter. A court-appointed counselor will evaluate future visitation. She looked like she'd been slapped. All the smugness drained out of her face like someone cut her strings. But the best part? It was only the beginning. 2 days later, I posted a photo of me and Sam at the park with Nathan. Nothing too romantic. Just a moment. A smiling Nathan on my shoulders, laughing. And the caption? Peace feels like this. Within an hour, my phone blew up. Natalie. 10 missed calls. A flurry of texts. Are you serious? Sam? Really? You think she's any better? You're disgusting. You're a joke. You're trying to make me jealous? Grow the hell up. That last one made me laugh. Out loud. I didn't respond. She couldn't take it. She had kicked the hornet's nest, thinking I'd never sting back. Now that I was, she couldn't stand it. She wasn't jealous because she missed me. She was jealous because I moved on without her, and worse, I was doing it with someone she used to call her best friend. She had ruined everything. But she expected me to sit quietly in the ashes. Not a chance. This wasn't just revenge. This was resurrection. And she was going to watch every step of it. It was funny, really. For someone who claimed to be liberated, empowered, and finally free in her so-called open marriage, Natalie couldn't handle the reality of not being in control. When she saw me actually happy, when she saw Nathan looking loved and cared for in my custody, her whole empire of lies started crumbling in on itself. She tried everything. Fake tears. Manipulative guilt trips. Even one final, desperate seduction attempt. She showed up at my house late one evening. Worn-out jeans, slightly undone blouse, no bra. Makeup perfectly smudged to look like she'd cried, but it was all just theater. I stood at the doorway, blocking her from coming inside. You don't have to do this, Logan, she whispered, stepping closer. We were good once. You know we were. We can be again. I stared at her. The same woman who had looked me in the eye and lied through her perfect white teeth. The same woman who dragged my heart through hell and still smiled while doing it. I didn't even flinch. Nah. You had your shot. You blew it. Now go home, Natalie. Something in her snapped. She went from soft to savage in seconds. You'll regret this. That bimbo Sam doesn't love you, she just wants to spite me. I smirked. Well, it's working. You look pretty spiteful. She glared at me, venom behind her fake lashes. You were always too soft. That's why I needed more. I took a step forward, voice low and sharp. You didn't need more. You needed a mirror. Someone to show you what a selfish, two-faced, self-destructive train wreck you are. And now you've got one. Look at yourself. She scoffed. You think you're better than me? No, I said, slamming the door in her face. I know I am. That was the last time I saw her in person. She spiraled. She lost her job 3 weeks later. HR caught wind of the affair with her supervisor, and after a quiet internal review, she was gone. Her social circle shrank fast. Turns out even her enlightened friends didn't like being around someone who bragged about betraying husbands and sleeping with their spouses behind their backs. As for me, life didn't just stabilize. It flourished. Nathan was thriving. His grades shot up. He smiled more. Slept better. The counselor said he was making exceptional emotional progress. Funny what happens when you remove the chaos from a kid's life. And Sam? She was the one thing I never saw coming and somehow the one person I always needed. We took it slow at first. She was still recovering from her own fallout, being betrayed by a best friend cuts deep. But she was patient, real, and didn't try to play games. One night, as we lay on the couch, Nathan tucked in for bed, I turned to her and asked, "Do you think you'll ever trust again?" Like, truly? She looked at me and said, "I already do." I kissed her then, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. There's a difference. A big one. One I never understood with Natalie. Weeks turned to months. Natalie stopped trying to get custody back. I heard through Sandra that she moved to a new city, reinventing herself. Whatever that meant. I didn't care. She was someone else's problem now. And me? I was finally free. Free from the lies. Free from walking on eggshells. Free from the emotional blackmail and twisted mind games. Looking back, the signs were always there. The phone turned face down. The fake laughter at jokes she didn't use to find funny. The sudden nights out with new friends. The random defensiveness over nothing. I ignored them because I wanted to believe in her. I wanted to believe in us. But love without honesty is just a slow death. And she buried me for years before I finally clawed out. To any man reading this, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone gaslight you into silence. And when someone shows you who they really are, don't waste time begging them to be someone else. Let them go. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply not needing them anymore. And I don't. Not even a little.